All right, today's podcast, we are going to be discussing 7 ways that you're likely making your dating life miserable without knowing it. Gary, why would we talk about this? Why? What a headline, huh?
I think so many times people do things wrong, have no idea that they're doing things wrong, and then wonder why dating isn't working for them. Like, why does my love life feel so broken? I feel like I'm doing everything right, but you're not. And I just think you get more mileage out of solving the problems than amplifying, like, oh, be more positive. I don't know, like that works sometimes, but it's like, no. Like, if we can solve a couple, we're going to talk about 7. You can get a couple of these solved if you're doing these things and you fix them, big return on investment.
Yeah, it's like if you're trying to lose weight, rather than focusing on getting to the gym, stop eating the chocolate chip cookies every night, you know? Solve the problem. I have a buddy, actually, he was like, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. He kind of talks like that. I don't know why I'm not losing any weight. I'm going to the gym 3 days a week, whatever. And we sit down and he gets like the biggest bowl of spaghetti meatballs and then gets like the bread and gets dessert with it. And I'm like, dude, solve that problem first.
Yeah.
But I think we do that with our love lives a lot, where it's like, okay, I just need to get on the apps. I just need to go on dates. I just need to meet guys. And yes, that is very, very important. But we have to solve for the underlying issue so we don't just continue to repeat patterns. So this is a great way to just kind of reframe the discussion in a way where it's like, if we're doing these things, let's stop doing these things ASAP to set yourself free in your love life.
Yeah, and full disclosure, we came up with this list by asking ourselves the question, what would you do while dating if you wanted to make yourself absolutely miserable and confused and lost and bewildered? Like, what would you have to do to feel just completely dejected and want to quit at dating? And so you do these things, it's going to lead to a terrible outcome, which means if you fix these things, solve for these issues, particularly because so many of them are hidden and secret issues, you're going to have such a better time.
You're gonna have a good time.
You're gonna have a better time.
Yeah. All right, Gary, you want to lead us off and let's just jump into it, man.
Yeah. So, if you want to date completely wrong, what you're going to try to do is you're going to use your partner to solve all your problems, right? And so you might feel a little lost, a little lonely, or worse, you might feel like really down on yourself, broken, incomplete. And it can be very easy to convince yourself when you're in that state that, you know what I need? I need somebody. I need somebody here with me. I need someone, like, if I just have a guy, that's going to fix everything. And you're kind of right in the sense that, yes, feeling loved and valued is helpful and it's going to help you feel better. But that's only going to be temporary because the foundational issues that led you to not feeling great in the first place, those are still there. And so just slapping a partner into your life, it's a Band-Aid fix. It's not actually solving the underlying issue. And so here's the bigger thing. And this one is huge. And I think this is the thing that not enough people who are dating really realize and fully account for, is that if you feel a little bit broken, the guys you're going to attract are broken too. And so if you're not feeling great, you're feeling a little down, you're feeling a little lost, you're going to attract guys who like female partners who are a little bit down, who are a little bit lost. And those are usually guys who like to have power and control. Dark triad guys, narcissistic guys, jerks, as everyone else. It's like those are the guys who just are attracted to those like lost soul types of women. And that's a bad plan.
Right. I remember when I got out of college, and I think dating for a guy right out of college is pretty tricky because you're broke, you don't have a lot going for you, you're kind of figuring out your life, you're not that confident. Women in their mid to mid 20s are dating guys in their 30s. And I remember for me, right out of college, I was just seeking so much validation from women. Like, I had this empty hole where it's like, I just want attention and I want to get noticed. And so I was optimizing for that. And what I found is the only women I was attracting were women who also were very flashy, were very focused on the superficial. And it wasn't until I really took a hard look at that, I'm like, why am I seeking validation from strangers? Like, who cares?
Right.
Like, legitimately, who cares what these people think of me? And I think that comes with age and comes with maturity. It took me a few years of really working on this area of my life, which ultimately led me to become a love coach. But that was the ultimate repair for me, is no longer using dating as a tool to solve my own internal issues. In fact, it wasn't until I was like, okay, you know what? I'm super happy being single. I'm super happy if I don't get attention or validation from women, was basically the moment my wife walked into my life. You know?
Right. Well, and I think it's very important what you just said about attention, right? Because when you don't feel complete, you're looking for attention and validation instead of connection, right? Because your needs for attention supersede your need for connection. I think that is an issue with so many people who are dating, which is why we coach our clients to focus on becoming a full, complete, amazing person and look for someone to share your life with, not for someone to make your life complete. It's a subtle but extremely important difference. Like, I am cool by myself, but I want to share my amazing life with you, who you also feel cool by yourself and want to share it with me. And this is what we talk about all the time with our clients in terms of synergy. Like, that's the best. 1 + 1 equals something 3, 4, 5, 6, greater than 2, right? And that's the goal. But you have to be a full, complete person first.
Amen. So another way to make yourself so miserable while dating, and this is a big one, which is dating the idea of him, but not the real him. And that is, we are, as Gary always loves to say, I've been using this forever, since you first said it, which is filling in the blanks. Don't fib yourself. It's an acronym. Don't fib yourself. So when we go on that first date, and he's charming, he's interesting, he likes to go home for Christmas and spend time with his family. Oh my God, he's such a family man. He tells you something a little bit vulnerable. Oh my God, he is so trustworthy. I can really see myself spending the rest of my life with him. You're filling the blanks. You're extrapolating based on one date. We don't even know this guy. He's a stranger. And so, look, I see us sometimes, Gary, as kind of the romance killers at the early stages of dating, but we are deeply romantic as a relationship continues to progress. And so when we're just getting started with someone, I want us all to just be cautiously optimistic. I want you to be optimistic. I want you to get the feels. I'm excited for you. That's what I'm always saying to my clients. I'm excited for you, but it's still really early. I mean, this guy could be a walking bouquet of red flags for all we know, right? We don't know, you know? So we have to just be really, really cautious of that.
So often, clients, this idea of him, they want it so bad. They want it to work so deeply in their being that they will describe a guy who has that bouquet of red flags. He's not that honest. He's not that predictable. I'm not really sure. His profile doesn't really match. He's 20 years older than what he said he was. There's just like issue after issue after issue. But then really what they end up saying in the end of it is like, but he brought me a bouquet. And it's like, wait a second. Like, that's really wishful thinking. Like, that's not a way to set yourself up for future success. And the other way that people do this is, I just see something special that no one else can see. No one else sees in him what I see in him. And it's like, that's dangerous, because people who are really good people, think of all the other really good people in your life. It's not a secret. Like, it's obvious to everybody around that they're good people. And so if it's needs to be like that thing that you have to like really kind of like dig out and like really like you're the only one that can see that little glimmer of greatness, you're probably seeing something that's not there.
Gary, do you ever have this happen? Yeah, I mean, you definitely do. But I notice this with masterminds. Like, we host these masterminds with our clients, and we all get together, and we answer questions, and we connect with them, we coach them. But new clients who come in, you can always tell the difference between a brand new client who's been with us for a week and then clients who've been with us for a month or 2 months. And the new clients will come in and say all of these things, and you can kind of see everyone. We're all very supportive and everything like that. But you can see some of them just be like, oh, no, not yet. Like, no, she just doesn't know. Like, she's just getting started.
Yeah.
And it's like, everyone kind of has that feeling of like, she's just getting started with
Yeah.
this new way of doing things. And like
Yeah.
we're always very kind and very compassionate during those moments, and it's so important. I think that that's what really sets us apart in those moments. But you definitely see the look from some clients, and they're like, "Oh my God, girl, you don't even know yet. Just give it 2 more weeks, and you'll never fall for that BS again."
Yeah, and you see it in the chat too, because they're always writing to each other in chat the whole time we're talking. And it's like you see them like basically say, "Girl, I've been there. Girl,
Yeah,
I was there 2 weeks ago. Right? Just
yeah,
wait." And you'll see them, and like that's what I love is like that sense. It's the nice thing about how our clients blend together in these masterminds because you have people who are brand new day one, you have people who are on week 3, some people are on month 3, and it's like the month 3 people say to the week 3 people like just wait, just you wait, and the week 3 people say to the day 1 people just you wait. Like there's just this better way to do it that you don't even fully realize yet. And it's like we get to sit there. I say to them all the time, like I've seen this whole life cycle happen hundreds of times. So like sometimes you say things and I just have a little bit of smirk because it's like I see your future and it's great and you just don't know what it is yet. But I've seen it enough times and I know where this is going for you.
totally, totally. Which I think leads us well to the third point, which is giving guys a third and fourth, a fifth, 100th chance. Okay, look, there are some scenarios where we go on a meetup with a guy, he's shy, it didn't go quite well. Maybe you go on a date and you're like, I'm not so sure. Okay, we'll give him a second look here. And that is totally appropriate. But if we're getting to the third, fourth, fifth, we're getting to the 50th, 100th chance, not a way in heck, right? Because history really does tend to repeat itself.
Yeah, I say to clients all the time, I'm a big believer in second chances. I am not a big believer in third chances. And so, a guy sets a date, something comes up, he flakes, can't make it, whatever. Okay, fine. That's a freebie. Like, that life happens, all that good stuff, fine. But he does it again? Nope. Like, now it's a pattern, right? Like, we collected enough data, we saw the real, pattern behind all this. We're not falling for this. I also think it's really important, too, for people to have in this idea of giving too many chances, a one strike policy early on in the dating process, 1 to 3 months in, less than 3 months. If you see any major red flag, any of your primetime deal breakers, what more do we need to see? Right? Like if you're anti-smoking, for example, and you start dating a guy who's a smoker and he didn't disclose that on his profile, and it's the first date, like what more do you need to see? Right? And if it's a big deal to you, like let's not give more and more chance. And we also have to remember that early on, the partners, they're all in their very, very best behavior. And so if you don't like a guy who's rude and on the very first date, he's rude to the server, I don't know, like that's him at his best. Like what's he going to be like 5 months from now when he's super comfortable? How's he going to act then? Right? And that becomes a concern.
Radical removal early on, just like radical. When someone is, and it's only with situations where we call it relationship risk here at Love Strategies. Well, the common term is red flags. If there's a major red flag, you will save yourself so much emotional energy just by being pretty radical and just saying, look, I'm going to move forward here and I'm not going to hang on to this hope that this person could be better, because there truly are better people out there who can show up in the right way. And the crazy thing is, and the most annoying thing is, just because he shows up really well on the first date without any red flags doesn't mean he's perfect either yet. So it's like even still you have to give it time. But again, early on, if people are being really rude, being really flaky, being disrespectful to you, or being overtly sexual, no, we're just not playing for that. I don't care if he's going through a really tough time in his life. Like I do care. Like I care. Okay, I kind of care, but I care about you. Like that's how I always come from that perspective as a client. Like he'll be okay. That's his own prerogative. He's got to work on that. What's most important is you as a client, and I'm here for you to not waste your time trying to fix this guy.
Yeah, 100%. And so number 4 in our list, I actually, when putting in this list, I wanted to put this one first because I think this one's super important, but I also kind of felt like those of you who listen to this and get this far in the podcast, like we're going to save this juicy one for you guys they're sticking around. And so number 4, if you want to date and make yourself miserable, just keep playing it way too safe. And what I mean by that is lack of clarity kills romance. And if you're not clear enough that you like a guy, it's actually going to kill any chance of there being a relationship. And so there's a couple reasons why people do this, and they don't want to put themselves out there, so to speak. And it's the first one is like kind of waiting, like you want to wait to show that you're interested in a guy until you're really, 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 really sure that he likes you. And so the problem with this strategy is that you're not willing to put yourself out there because you're already a little bit in your head. You're doubting yourself already. So what you're going to need from this guy to convince you that he's really into you is probably going to be way too much, way more than he's ever going to be actually like able to give you. Like, what will this guy be able to do to convince you that he really likes you enough for you to really open up? And it's probably nothing. And so you're just never really actually going to open up. And so a lot of this is about cushioning the potential rejection. And you're leaving it all up to him. And that's dicey because you kind of create this weird standoff. You know, it's a downward spiral of disinterest where you're both going to lose. And so, like, look at this from his perspective. You're not showing that much interest because you're kind of waiting on him. From his perspective, he's like, you know, I'm dating this woman. She doesn't seem that interested. So then he's wondering, like, why is she not interested? And he can only really come to a couple conclusions is like, she doesn't like me, or she's got better options than me. Okay. Well, now if you were that guy in that situation, would you put more time, energy, and effort into this relationship and show more interest? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do that at all. Would you, if you were that guy dating somebody who's not showing that much interest, would you start looking at other partners who you perhaps have better chances with? Yeah, that's exactly what you would do. And so your lack of showing interest sets off his lack of interest, which triggers your lack of interest, and down we go, when actually both of you were quite interested in the first place, but no one was actually willing to do the open, honest thing, which is just be a little bit vulnerable and be like, hey, I like you.
Definitely. You know, like, so we have this little love step. It's called little love step number 5. There's 7 little love steps that we take our clients through to go from being single to a long-lasting relationship. And we have this little love step 5 where we pace the progression of your connections. We slow things down. Now, the interesting part of this step is that because we're slowing things down with the guy, we also have to be incredibly intentional about showing interest through this phase. Because if we're slowing it down with him and saying, you know, like, let's slow down before we sleep together, let's slow down before we get exclusive, anything like that, we might be sending him signals that we're not interested. So this is probably longer than, this is its own podcast, this is its own course, honestly. But what we encourage our clients to do all the time is I'll just say, hey, tell him you like him. Look him in the eye and just be like, you know, I've really enjoyed spending time with you. You're an incredible guy and I really like you. You know, and that's it. And then they'll come back and be like, oh my God, he looked me in the eyes as well. And he said he liked me. And oh my God, it's just built such an amazing moment. It's such an amazing connection. I'm like, yeah, it's great. Do it. It allows you, by pacing, by slowing things down, it actually allows you to show more interest. Because the worst thing we can do is we're moving really, really fast. And the whole time we're like, oh my God, I like you, I like you, I like you. Now we're just being eager. So Gary, am I explaining this? Well, I'm trying to shorten this very complex subject into a very short period, short conversation here. But
yeah, I think it comes down to take a chance, be vulnerable. As the kids say, shoot your shot. And because what you want, and this is what I say to clients, what you want more than anything else is clarity. You want to know that the person you likes you. And so if you're vulnerable and you do that thing that you just said, and it's funny because I say that almost the exact same thing to clients, like, hold his hand, look him in the eye, soft eyes, and just be like, I really like you. Like, really like you.
yeah,
Now, there's a possibility that he doesn't feel the same, and that would suck. That would suck.
Right.
But it sucks less finding it out now than it does 3 months from now.
Definitely.
And so this is, you know, kind of going back, like we help push you to do the hard thing that's good for you. And this is one of them, for sure.
Amen. Another way to make your dating life miserable. We can't have this podcast without mentioning the apps, of course, right? Which is using the dating apps the wrong way. Being a serial swiper, or being what we call a picture purist, which is focusing all of your attention on his pictures, being super judgy about them. Every step, okay, he's got one pair of baggy jeans and it's not like the really cool jeans or like the jeans from when he gained a few more pounds in the past and he still wears them. Like, it's being super judgy if you see one thing off about any of the pictures, or letting it linger on the apps for months and having these pen pals, letting it continue forever, and just going on and on and on. This is how we will make our dating lives miserable, is if we're using the apps as really a dating app. It's not actually a dating app. We consider it to be a social app. It is a tool to meet people offline and then go on a meetup. It's not meant, it's designed to keep you using the apps because they want to get money out of you. But the way our clients use it as a social app, get them off of the app and build real connection in real life.
Yeah, and so much of what people are doing with the, pen pals, letting it linger, they'll kind of blame the guy and say, oh, he's just not asking me out. He's just not doing this or this. It's like, well, you're actually just procrastinating. Like, you're playing into this too. And so going back to what we said in the previous one is like, just tell them you're really interested. Like, make it clear, send a clear signal. Like, hey, as much as I like chatting you on the app, I feel like I'd really get to know you a lot better and I would enjoy spending time with you if we met up in person. How about you set something up? I'm free next week on whatever. Send a clear signal. If he doesn't pick up on that, you just got your answer. You don't have to let this linger anymore. You can be like, if he doesn't pick up on that, he's not your guy. Like, he's just not looking for what you're looking for. And you can just be like, bye.
I had a client tell me the other day one of Coach Robin's lines, which I loved, which is, if a guy asks you a question and you just want to move it off the app, just say, that question would be much better answered over a glass of wine this weekend. And I'm like, ooh.
That's so good.
That's good. And I could totally picture Robin saying that too.
Yeah, she's so sweet. Like, she just has such a way of wording things.
Yeah. And just for everyone listening, if you're not aware of Robin, she's in her 60s and she's killing it. Like, and she's now married, but she was a previous client and worked a little love steps, worked on radiating her feminine energy, and now this is where she is. So it's awesome. She's so great.
Yeah. I think the one last thing before we move off of the apps, I think is really important to point out. If you want to make yourself miserable while dating, really connect to people on the apps through stories and a bunch of things that they're telling you that may or may not be real or may just be in your head. And so, one of the things that we say to our clients all the time is the people you meet on an app, they're not real until you meet them in person. And so no emotional connection to men you've never met in person. That solves a lot of the problems that people can possibly encounter in online dating.
99% of the problems.
Yeah.
Literally. That is the biggest one. That happens all the time. And again, it just requires it. Humans are not designed for apps. They're not designed for this. So we hear the stories, we see the picture, we start to fall in love, we start to feel all these good feelings. And that's where coaches come in and are like, stop. No. How many times do you have to say that? And then look, once you meet the person in real life, face to face, eye contact, and he smiles at you and he looks the same or similar to how he looked on the apps, okay, now we let our guard down. Let's let ourselves feel the feels a little bit. But until that point, he is a stranger. Doesn't exist to you.
Stranger danger. Stranger from the internet.
Stranger from the internet. Exactly.
Number 6. You want to make your life miserable? Keep dating on easy mode. And let him date on easy mode. And so this is also something we've called in the past doormat syndrome. You're doing everything. You're doing all the work. And don't get me wrong, he loves it. He's thrilled. He thanks you. He's gracious. He's all these things. He tells you you're amazing. Be careful. It's a trap. Because we like the things that we put effort into. We like the things that we work for. We call this in psychology cognitive dissonance. And so you're making this relationship super easy for him, which seems great, but we don't ever get to really see if this is something he's willing to work for. And so we don't want to drag him through this relationship by making it way too easy. And here are the ways that you do this. This is what's making you miserable. You plan everything and you do all the work, but you kind of justify it by saying, I'm just being nice. I'm just helping out. He's bad at planning things, so I'm going to plan things better. So let me just do it. And really it's about you having control. Now, to be fair, you probably can plan things better, but it doesn't mean that he can't plan things adequately. So let him plan things adequately. The other way you make things easy is you drive to him, right? You are always going to him. This also counts. Like we have clients who's like, well, he said he'd send for a car for me to drive me over to his place, or he's going to send plane tickets and I'm going to meet him in Alaska, wherever it happens to be. It's like, no. The other way we make it easy is by not asking too much. Like I don't want to find things out that will disappoint me. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I don't want to ask him for anything. You chase the guy by texting all the time. You put enough emotional energy into this relationship for the both of you, and you just make excuses all the time for his complete lack of interest, investment, dedication, or any kind of real sign that he actually wants to be in a relationship. You're just like, but he said thank you. He likes me.
Yeah, I mean, just like, look, let him do a little bit of the work. This reminds me of a client years ago who was going on a first date with a guy, or yeah, it was a meetup or something like that. They were just meeting up for the first time. And he was saying that he wanted to take her bowling. And she comes on a mastermind. It's like, Adam, I don't want to go bowling. Should I just suggest that we go to this wine place and we can do a wine tasting? They were clearly a little bit different. And my response was, no, go bowling, let him plan it, see where it goes, and judge him every single step of the way. She's like, all right, fine, I'll go bowling. Next time I talked to her, she's like, bowling was so fun. Like, we got there, he called ahead. He had a perfect bottle of wine. He knew I liked wine. He had the wine that I really liked. They had music there, so we were able to dance while we were bowling. It was like one of those really fun places, and we had the best time. It was one of the best dates I've ever been on. And then 6 months later, they're in the best relationship of their life. And it's like, imagine if she just like took that one moment where she's like, no, I don't want to do that. We're going to do what I want to do. She's just like cutting his legs out. She's not stepping to the feminine. She's taking total control of this. And I know that that's like, you want to do that in those moments. You don't want to go bowling, but just go bowling. Just do it. And I don't even like bowling that much either. I get it.
But it's also, you have to look at it from a different perspective. It's like what you want to do on dates is learn as much as you can about someone you don't know much about. So him being in his natural environment, something he's come, you're going to get to see more of a real authentic version of him, which, let's be honest, it's that version who you're likely to be in a relationship with if you're in this thing long term anyway. Like, let's see the real him, not the version of him where he's at a wine tasting event that he's uncomfortable at. We don't know, like, does that give us a better picture of him or not? It's probably the bowling place that gives a better version.
And a quick caveat that I want to say with all of this, which is this is only for the first couple of dates. All right. You're not going to be bowling for the rest of your life here. Like we can have, like, by the third date, you get on the same page and you both are doing the things that you both enjoy doing. All right. I'm just talking about the first date, maybe the second. I just want to make that super clear in this situation.
Yeah.
So,
well,
before we get hater comments, I don't want to bowl. I hate you.
Yeah. You need some real bowling fanatics
Yeah.
setting in. Like, what are you talking about bowling? So, last way, make yourself miserable. And I save, this is like a grand finale one because I think this ties into a lot of them and it's really, really important. This realization that and this is true with lots of things in life, but if you want to be miserable, fuzzy goals lead to fuzzy outcomes. Like, if you're not clear about what you're doing, how you're doing it, what you're looking for, why that's important, essentially not having a clear plan, why would you expect things to work out well? It's just not how things go in life for almost anything. And so every once in a while you'll hear clients, and we kind of say that sometimes we're romance killers, but they'll say things like, I just want to see where life takes me. I'm just kind of taking it day by day. I'm living in the moment. And like, I get it. I like to feel like that sometimes too, but it's not a great plan for dating because as much as it sounds innocent, really none of those things convey any sort of long-term mindset. And so it's setting you up for short-term thinking. And if you're thinking short-term, guess what kind of guys you're going to attract? You're going to attract guys who also think short-term. And guess what kind of relationships you're going to then end up in? You're thinking short-term, he's thinking short-term. And then you're like, why can't I get a relationship to last more than 6 weeks? Well, because you're taking it day by day, you're living in the moment, and you're seeing where life takes you. And so, I think this always makes me think of that saying where it's like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And so, if you're not going into your relationship and dating life with a plan, something we call a love vision, you're just letting life happen to you. You're letting relationships happen to you. And so, any partner you meet will have a good quality or two. And so, if you're just kind of like floating in the breeze, you're going to latch on to those one or two good qualities and be like, okay, that's good enough. And it's like, so many clients end up in not great relationships because they basically convince themselves to like a guy because, well, he likes me and he's got a couple of good traits. I can work with this. I can make this work. And that's just not the recipe for the long-term fulfilling relationship that I know so many of you are looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, look, that's what we're here for. And we're here to support you every single step of the way is to create that plan, then follow it with the strategy that works. And we're here to walk you through this every single step of the way. So if you want our help, feel free to head on over to lovestrategies.com, or we have a link in the description where you can jump on a call with someone on our team. We're happy to walk you through this process and see if we can help you create that clear plan in your love life. So thank you, Gary. That was a great one. And let's make sure that dating is not miserable for these ladies.
Like whatever you do, just stop making yourself miserable. Dating should be fun. Like it should be fun, and it's like the most obvious and easy thing. But like if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong, and we can help.